Talked about this story over the weekend. We're learning tonight that the local pilot who was pulled from that burning wreckage Saturday just got out of surgery a few hours ago.
That's right. Roger James was life-flighted to USA Medical Center right after the crash. That's where we find Fox 10 News reporter Candace Murphy. Now, Candace, this is the second plane crash that James has survived, right?
Yeah, that's right, Bob and Lenise. I'm told that almost 7 years ago to the date, James was in a plane with Baldwin County State Senator Tripp Pittman when they crashed into some trees in Tallahassee, Florida. Now that day, Pittman says James saved his life. Well, you know, they say what goes around comes around, and on Saturday, James was the one whose life had to be saved. Looking at this photo, it's hard to believe Roger James, the pilot of this plane, survived. But he did, with the help of some local heroes.
One big guy grabbed my brother and the seat and ripped it out of the plane and got him away from the fire. Probably a matter of seconds before the whole plane was engulfed in flames. Wow. God thing, really was.
He had some contusions on his face from the impact with the dash and the windshield on the plane. He had some burns on his feet.
Family says James was in surgery for 5 hours today for a compression fracture on the lower part of his back. He's now in ICU.
What they said is the rotor wash off a big helicopter caused a bunch of air turbulence, which basically came down the runway. And when my brother's plane was coming in, it hit that, and I guess it takes the lift out of the plane, and the plane just came down because I guess it causes a downdraft, or the air's just not there for the lift.
Today at the Fairhope Airport, inspectors from the FAA, or Federal Aviation Administration, were trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. It's the second crash James has survived.
He's doubly blessed.
7 years ago, Baldwin County State Senator Tripp Pittman was flying with James near Tallahassee when that plane lost engine power.
And he kind of stalled the plane into the trees, and we broke through the canopy. I blacked out for a few seconds and then came to, realizing I was alive, which was great, but then there was smoke in the cockpit from the fire. The engine had broken loose, the wings had come off. We had gone all the way to the ground.
Pittman says the door was jammed and the fire on the outside burned his arm and face. He says James pushed him out of the plane, saving his life.
And so we fell out on the wing and kind of staggered away from the plane, and just a few seconds later it blew up.
A week after that crash, the pilot's brother says James was back in the air, and he doesn't think it will be any different this time.
Well, I think he's planning before the end of the month to try to get back up again, but I think his wife's going to take his plane keys away from him for a while at least.
Now, Pittman says James is a Vietnam veteran, and his family says he's been flying since the 1960s. They say he's a very good and safe pilot. He's just been in some circumstances that were dangerous and he simply couldn't control. Now, I'm working on getting a photo of James recovering in the hospital. The family wants to wait to release that until he's more alert and can communicate post-surgery. But they do want to thank everybody for their prayers. We're now reporting live outside USA Medical Center. I'm Candace Murphy, Fox 10 News.
Thank you, Candace.
Well, we have new information on a story